up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is the video for day 2 of the opening weekend of the Call of Duty League, which takes place in February 12th. And I like the matchups we're going to have for this day. We have Optic Chicago in their first match on the official Call of Duty season, going up against Paris Legion, the fresh Paris Legion. They also have a new team this year. It's going to be interesting to see how they perform against the top teams. And we're also going to have the Atlanta Faze against the Los Angeles Guerillas. That is going to be a good series as well, and I am looking forward to watching both of them and, you know, discussing both of them from a spectator standpoint and a daily fantasy esports standpoint as well. So let's get to it. Now, before I start, I do want to remind everybody that's watching this video, you know, if you're under 18 or even over 18, be careful how you spend your money in daily fantasy sports. It can be fun, but you can get carried away with it pretty easily. So always remember to bet responsibly and don't bet more than you can afford to lose, all right? So, as we can see here, the Paris Legion, Aqua, Classic, Fire, and Scraps are all pretty cheap. 6,400, 5,000, 5,000, 7,800. These guys are all pretty cheap considering they're going against the top dogs of the Optic Chicago. We can see Optic Chicago's prices here: Dashy, Envoy, Formal, and Scump. Scump seems to be the only cheap one here, but Formal, Envoy, and Dashy are the most expensive. Formal and Envoy being the most expensive at 15,000 and 14,100 for cap, 9,400 flex, and $10,000 flex respectively. So, in regards to the Paris Legion, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I really don't have a clue how this team is going to play. As you can see here, they're playing decently against the London Royal Ravens in the Kickoff Classic. Fire was having a decent couple games. You know, he showed out just like almost all the other rookies. But I'm really concerned, not concerned, but I really don't think that they stand a chance against Optic Chicago, the team they're going up against. They have Scraps, who used to be in the London Royal Ravens last year. He's on the Paris Legion now, and he's also very good. But I just don't think this team has enough chemistry to even just, you know, stand up to Optic Chicago. So I'm going to completely fade this game. I'm not going to be playing anybody in any of the slots for Paris Legion. Hopefully it doesn't backfire, but I really don't think that, you know, they will do any amount of damage against Optic Chicago, especially on maps like Garrison Hardpoint or Garrison Control. You know, I really don't think that they can do much damage to Optic. They're very cheap, as we saw right now. They're relatively cheap, but you know they're cheap for a reason. They're going up against Chicago, and they're most likely not gonna win that match. So I'm completely fading Paris Legion for this game. This team is also new. Scraps, Classic, Aquafire are all new players to this team. So we've only seen a couple of matches from them, mainly from the Kickoff Classic. And, you know, even though they looked okay, I don't know if that's enough to go off of because, you know, everything that happens in the preseason, you know, stays in the preseason. It never translates ever. As you're watching this video, you'll probably know LA Thieves beat Minnesota Rockers, so that lets you know that, you know, you can't really trust what you see from a team in the preseason. You really have to see them, you know, in the dirt during the season. With that being said, it is obvious that Optic is going to win this matchup. I mean, who isn't willing to bet their money on Optic in this situation? Optic, one of the strongest it's looked. Formal, Envoy, and Scump and Dashy are considered, if not the top two, at the very freaking least, the top third team in the CDL. They are the top. I personally believe they're top two. with Dallas Empire in first place, of course, but they are runner-ups and they are honestly contenders to be the best in the world. So I don't really think that Paris Legion has anything in their playbook to, surprise Optic in the least. This is going to be a clean 3-0 sweep unless unless these guys controllers break or something, but I really, I don't see Paris winning this. I see Optic winning 3-0, but I really feel like Formal and Envoy are very expensive, especially at the captain spots. They're very expensive. Scump seems to be the cheapest out of these guys and seems to be the biggest bargain. Scump is actually about $7,000 on the flex position, and he's about $10,000 on the captain position. So I feel like that's a pretty good price for him. You know, I feel like they price the veterans lower. For some reason, when these guys are like at the top of their game. Scump is pretty good, and he's been doing good in scrims, dropping bombs left and right, 40 bombs, 50 bombs against professional teams. So I still have faith in him. I think he is the best value in that entire match. I think he is the best value, followed by Dashi and then Envoy. Formo is pretty good, but like I said, he's really expensive. His cap price is like 15 grand. I think it's kind of insane, but it's like simp shotsy levels. But anybody with this and in this team, you can't go wrong if you put them in your lineups. You really can't go wrong. You just got to structure, properly based because of their expensive price. But that is those are my predictions for this specific match. You obviously, you obviously can't stack this team. It'd be too expensive. But the meta is changing for this year, and based on what we saw today's Thursday's games, uh, it is looking pretty evident that you can, you know, put players in your captain slot or wherever that are anticipated to win 3-0 games, whereas in last season you couldn't really do that. Like no points were really gained from that. But now it seems like teams are getting rewarded for 3-0ing teams, so that's actually pretty good. So that's interesting to see. So yeah, those are my predictions for this match. So as you can see here, these are the prices for both teams. These are the prices for Atlanta Faze, a BZ RCD Celium Simp. Pretty expensive Simp at 10. The value here I see is at Celium and a BZ. They're the cheapest ones. And for Los Angeles, I couldn't get the scores in time because the contest locked. But let me tell you, you don't need to know the scores because most of the time people are going to fade at this game completely. These guys are going to probably get 3-0 swept. Just how it is. Now, ideally, I would go over the prices for the Los Angeles Guerillas first, but as of the time of making this video, the contest had already started. I'm new to this, so I'm still trying to figure out what time I need to make everything. But it is safe to say nobody is going to have exposure to any Los Angeles Guerillas this game because they're going up against the one and only FaZe Clan. Now, this weekend is crazy because we thought that Minnesota was probably gonna be they were probably gonna be LA Thieves, but it turns out that they didn't. So we don't know what to expect. I am 110% sure that the FaZe Clan is going to destroy Los Angeles Guerillas, but you never know. It's the first match of the year, so we got to see what happens. I'm not saying they're going to be FaZe. I'm just saying who knows? They might steal the map, they might not. Some of these players might be, great value plays, maybe Apathy or Silly. Um, Apathy was doing great in the Kickoff Classic. He was, popping off. I believe his price tag was around the 7,000 mark, and I was looking over their prices, and I think he has the best value out of all of them.
and then I think maybe silly as well. But other than that, I would just completely fade this game as well. This is also a completely new team from last year. All four players are new to the squad, and it's going to be interesting to see how these players look on their first official match day. Um, it's a lot of information to take in at one time. This is not really natural. You know, it's the first time. I mean, I've seen these players play individually, but you never know how they're going to play together. If they can be great players, but if they're not good together, they're not going to do good. So, you know, this is all news to us. All this data we're going to take from these upcoming games, we can make a solid foundation of assumptions for the next games based on these initial matches. But I do firmly believe that Atlanta Faze is going to 3-0 the Los Angeles Guerillas. So where do I start with Faze? Every single player in this roster is attractive, in regards to price and just in skill by itself. I don't know why the Atlanta Faze are actually kind of cheap for this matchup. I'm looking at our city's flex at 8,200. He is scratching the $7,000 mark, and that doesn't sit right with me. BZ's the 9,000. That seems more fitting. Celium is at 8,600 as well. I believe he has a lot of upside, and he's a decent play in any position. In any roster, he's just a very good player. As a player, you don't even have to look at his stats to know he's going to deliver if you have him in your lineup. Simp, on the other hand, he's amazing, but he's also really expensive. And Shotzi already went off for the Dallas Empire, so he really has to go off to pay off that $10,400 salary for flex, and that 15,600 salary for the captain spot. So there's been a lot of great plays already in this slate. So I don't know if Simp is going to help a lot of people in their lineups, but he most likely probably will. I saw one of my contests today, and it was pretty stacked with like Faze and Optic Chicago players. But that's a scary two teams to go up against. We saw the previous kickoff classic between Florida and Faze, and they surprisingly lost to Florida. But Florida is a freaking strong team. Florida is a very good team right now. So I don't that doesn't take anything away from them in my eyes. I just think that they weren't expecting Faze to come out as strong as they did. So I'm not worried about that. I know Faze is the third best team in the world in my opinion, but they're probably gonna put on a show today, sweep the Los Angeles Guerillas, and I feel like Celium and Simp might just go off. Um, our cities might be a little more on the chill side. He might just hang out, not slay too much, But I'm curious to see how these guys play without, uh, Priesta and Major Maniac. It's going to be very interesting to see, but all confidence in this team. They're going to take it easy peasy. So I am going to be making more videos throughout this weekend for the Saturday and the Sunday slate. So if you find this video, if you're watching, I know the editing is terrible. I missed some stuff, but I'm just getting used to the software programs, how to edit everything, how to not freaking lose track of all the stuff I'm trying to do. But I'll only get better over time. So if you like the content, if you're interested in the Call of Duty League, I promise you I will get better. If you find this video, I'll get better at editing. If you guys want to stick around, subscribe, like, dislike, whatever you want to do, comment so the video gets more traction, reaches more eyes, as I do want to spread awareness of the Call of Duty esport, which I believe is the best in the world. And we won't stop till we get there. So if you like the content, remember, like and subscribe. Thanks.